the end of this. I just wanted to go back to basics. So, I kind of look. It can be first-time buyers. Obviously, first-time buyers have never done this before. But obviously, you can also come across people that have almost paid their mortgage off, or maybe have paid their mortgage off, and now they're suddenly going through that process again. Now, if they got their last mortgage 20, 25 years ago, again, it's a whole new world, isn't it? So we as estate agents, when we have an offer in on a house, and they offer £300,000, and the vendor says, "Okay, I'll accept that." Excuse me. We still keep that property on the market while we carry out our due diligence on them. Yeah. So if they haven't got their own mortgage broker at that time, that perhaps they've only got an agreement in principle, which we all know is really easy to get. You can get one just like that, really, can't you? You're never going to get a mortgage, but you can get an AIP or a decision in principle. But we will always say to them, okay, well, look, if you've got a broker, we need written confirmation from your broker that he's seen enough stuff from you to satisfy him or herself that they are okay to get a mortgage, subject, of course, to this going forward and then digging deeper. Or if they haven't, we will ask them to phone you up and get qualified. So what do they need? So today I've had Janet and John go and view a house, and they said, "Oh yeah, we've got an agreement in principle, but we don't know about getting a mortgage." And so, okay, well, here's Emma's number. Give her a ring, and we can find out what you can do. Make sure that you can afford it, etc., etc. What in theory do you need off of them as far as proof of income? They need wage slips.
Yeah, I mean, on the outset, I will send them like a documentation on what documentation they need based on whether they're employed, self-employed. Generally, I will ask for 2 forms of ID.
Right.
Normally photo ID and proof of address.
Okay.
As in date.
Yeah.
I'll also get consent for an electronic identification.
Okay.
I'll have to get written consent off of them that they're happy with that.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of ID side of thing. Now, ID could be a passport, driving licence, and then we need proof of address. It could be a utility bill, generally not a mobile phone bill, but a utility bill, like council tax. But it needs to be dated in the last 3 months, and it should show their name and their address on the form.
Okay.
And then 3 months bank statements dated in the last 3 months. Sometimes I need 4. And also, if it's a deposit, proof of deposit.
And if there's a suspicious, not suspicious, that's me being a cynic again. But if there's suddenly a £25,000 deposit, and that's because their Auntie Betty has given them a very nice wedding present, Auntie Betty has to send you a letter saying that it's
depends on the lender. They generally have their own templates.
Oh, right, okay.
So I would go through that with the client, but
because we're talking about money laundering here, and they've become really, really hot on that in recent years, haven't they? Making sure that it's not just money that's put into a bank that's then whipped out just to get them the mortgage, and then it can be whipped out again.
Yeah.
You have to prove that it's yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know we've had a couple of those situations where, we've just what do you think? Or other times we've just had one recently, no names, no petrol, with a young lad that's only in his late 20s, early 30s, first time buyer. He's bought a house off of us for 850 grand, and he got turned down on his mortgage, so he's paid cash for it.
Oh, wow.
And you think, really? But it all went through, all the checks, he had the money. Yeah, but he just wanted a mortgage because his accountant said it was better for him to get a mortgage than to pay cash, but he got turned down for a mortgage. I don't know why, because we're never privy to that. That's classified information. But yeah, so it can be really, so it's IDs. Yeah, so you've got to have your IDs, ladies and gentlemen. So you've got to have your passport.
Yeah.
Or what do you do for someone that doesn't have some of our more senior citizens, perhaps, that don't drive, and that have never been outside of these shores and haven't got a passport or a driver's license. What happens
Well,
to
we
them?
normally do an electronically identification.
Off the electoral? Oh, no, how do you do that then? Sorry.
We've got a system that does.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay.
So we normally do that. It could be a birth certificate, and then they probably have utility bills still, wouldn't
Sure.
they?
Yeah. So there's ways around it for those people. Because I've heard stories about this before. People say, I haven't got a driver's license and I haven't got a passport.
Yeah.
My mum never had a passport and never had a driver's license. So she would have been stymied, really, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's always around it. Yeah.
Right. So